has been three assembly by-elections that are throwing up a very different kind of a political story. Jan Suraaj founder Prashant Kishor has won in Bihar's Bankipur in his electoral debut. The Congress, meanwhile, has comfortably won in Madhya Pradesh Datia, while the BJP has won in Gujarat's Manjalpur. Now, in Bankipur contest, which is in fact watched very closely because of the win for Kishor, it has resulted in the Jan Suraaj party, in fact, having its first electoral victory. What's interesting about is that just months ago, the party which had contested in all the 238 seats in Bihar in November 2025 had failed to win even one. But things have changed on the ground months after November 2025. Take a look at what Kishore had to say.
चुनाव प्रचार के दौरान हम लोगों ने जो बात रखी थी, ये विधायक बनाने का चुनाव नहीं है। ये भाजपा के केंद्रीय नेतृत्व को ये संदेश देने का एक प्रयास है बिहार की जनता के द्वारा कि बिहार में किसी अच्छे व्यक्ति को मुख्यमंत्री बनाइए। आपको जनता ने 202 विधायक जिताए हैं। किसी अपराधी, किसी गलत चाल चरित्र चेहरा वाले व्यक्ति को बिहार का नेतृत्व मत दीजिए। अच्छे आदमी को बनाइए ताकि बिहार में भी शिक्षा हो, बिहार में भी बच्चों के लिए रोजगार हो, बिहार के बच्चों को भी बाहर मजदूरी करने न जाना पड़े। ये संदेश बांकीपुर के लोगों ने दिया है। बाकी विधायक जीतना हारना ये तो राजनीति है, चलता रहता है। जिन लोगों ने मत दिया उनका धन्यवाद कर रहे हैं। जिन्होंने मत नहीं दिया है उनको यही कहेंगे कि आपसे आपका विश्वास जीतने के लिए और मेहनत और प्रयास करेंगे। लेकिन महत्वपूर्ण बात ये है कि बिहार को अच्छा नेतृत्व मिलना चाहिए, बिहार सुधरना चाहिए।
In fact, we are now joined in by Kartikeya Sharma, who is the managing editor for News 9. Kartikeya, you know, there is a lot to this. There were three different bypolls, probably under the radar with all the other things that are happening. But when the results are coming in, it shows that something is changing on the ground. How do you read this?
You see, Bakipur is the only story here. There's a bypoll which is taking place in Datia where the Congress is winning, and there's a bypoll that is taking place in Gujarat where BJP is already won. Bakipur is important for one simple reason, that it is represented by Nitin Nabeen. And Nitin Nabeen is the president of Bharatiya Janata Party. Secondly, BJP has a chief minister in Bihar. Thirdly, this is the election which is taking place in absence of Nitish Kumar. Nitish Kumar is in Delhi. Fourth, it is an urban constituency. Fifth, this constituency lies in Patna. Sixth, this is happening in wake of the NEET controversy. Seven, that Prashant Kishor is not a traditional politician. You know, bells are ringing for both Bharatiya Janata Party and RJD. And eighth, that Prashant Kishor can pose a real challenge for both RJD and the sort of politics which the JDU is doing and the sort of politics which the BJP is doing. And lastly, and the foremost, it also tells us that certain issues are not confined to Delhi only. This issue of NEET has now demonstrated the capacity to touch the bastions. And for BJP to lose this constituency, which they have never lost after 1995 or since 1995, is a big problem for them. It is going to spark a big debate. 1995 till 2026, it means more than 32 years that they have wrested the seat. And now they have lost it. Why have they lost it? Why did they lose it with such a big margin? Why didn't people vote for them? Urban constituencies are with Bharatiya Janata Party. Urban constituency and middle class is the, a core supporter of BJP right now. It is in middle of Patna. How did this happen? I think there are a lot to answer for. This is not an easy story. This story is telling us that something is happening in this country which the political parties or the traditional political parties are failing to grasp. There will be certain issues of organization. There will be certain issues of caste composition. There will be certain issues of hyper-local, electioneering. There will be certain issues where, certain wards, certain areas within Vidhan Sabha constituency would have voted in a way which had hurt BJP's chances. But that is one aspect or one part of the larger voting trend. But the bigger picture that emerges from it is, that they have been losing, or they had lost their bastion, and they have been fighting a contest with Prashant Kishor, whose imagination of future of Bihar maybe was far more robust than what Samrat Chaudhary is portraying in absence of Nitish at the helm of affairs.
That means we are looking at something that's happening at the local political level, that is within Bihar, and probably having national implications as well. Is it too much to read whether that national implications could have, and also the local political situation when we look at, as you said, Samrat Chaudhary is there. But the fact remains is that these are states where you have a long run. The BJP has been having a long run. And as I said, bypolls at times was seen as a way to just go ahead and ensure that you have that certification saying that you're in power and therefore the people are with you. But here it's going to be a little difficult to put out that narrative, isn't it?
It will be difficult to put out that narrative for a simple reason, because BJP is going to counter it. See, BJP, when I has to understand, it's not that the BJP has lost its entire political deposit. BJP has retained the seat of Gujarat with a huge margin, and Gujarat elections will also take place. So it's not as if BJP is losing its deposit in all three constituencies. It's a setback for BJP. They have lost Datia. They have lost Bankipur. Bankipur is interesting because Bankipur was Nitin Nabeen's seat. If BJP president loses his seat, that means it would, it's a case of very poor management. Secondly, this seat is not something which Nitin Nabeen had rested. This is sort of this is a seat which is part of the larger parivar. Nitin Nabeen's father himself was part of politics. So Nitin Nabeen himself is not a first timer. He has been part of BJP's larger parivar or BJP Sangh parivar. So I think it's far more complicated than that. But on the face of it, the first question people will ask is it the absence of Nitish Kumar which is having an impact in the politics of Bihar? Secondly, why has this urban constituency behaved the way it has behaved? And most important of all, I think for the first time, BJP will have to reckon that sometimes protests can have political or electoral outcomes. CAA stir, SIR stir, farmers stir, it had no electoral outcomes. It had no electoral outcomes. If Jantar Mantar protest is having an electoral outcome, then it is time for BJP to go to the drawing board. Because the last time any student movement which created an electoral outcome, or two student movements that created political electoral outcomes, they completely destabilized Delhi. One was in 1975-77, eventually emergency was imposed by Indira Gandhi. It was a student movement because the hostel fee had become expensive, hostel food had become expensive. It started from Bihar. And the second student agitation, again, this was very upper caste centric, was post-Bandal when VP Singh had imposed Bandal Commission report. And again, the student agitation happened. And Rajiv Gandhi lost power. He got sandwiched between the Hindutva, the Mandal politics and the Kamandal politics. So this time, I don't know, is there a sort of a squeeze from both the sides or not? But I think that it's a more pervasive squeeze of NEET. It's a more pervasive squeeze which BJP will have to face. They can give multiple reasons as to why this has happened, why this has not impacted Gujarat. This question will also need to be addressed. Why NEET has not impacted Gujarat? Why has it impacted Bankipur? So is the issue of Bankipur local or national? All these questions will be put up. But as of now, for sitting BJP president to lose his seat is very, very embarrassing.
Also, interestingly enough, the idea that you've put in across, probably it is a stratification of voters who are not like, the traditional divisions that were there, the polarization that would have worked. We are talking about the coming together of a lot of earlier polarized voters together and probably expressing it. If that's the situation that they have to counter.
I think for the voters, when it comes to assembly elections, the local issues are far more important. But then, psephologists will be the best people to tell us whether people actually voted for Prashant Kishor on local issues or whether they voted Prashant Kishor on national issues. My understanding is that the people voted in Bankipura for state issues. Assembly elections are for the state. Panchayat elections are for the local issues. Lok Sabha elections are for the national issues. So if Prashant Kishor is being voted in a by-election, is he being seen as an alternative leader? Because once Prashant Kishor is established as a leader in his own right, then everything will happen on its own. Then Prashant Kishor doesn't need a political party, he will need a wave. Look what has happened with Vijay. People saw Vijay as an alternative, and Vijay is the chief minister today. So people, you don't need to go the traditional way. You don't need to, work for 15 years to build an organization. through voluntary method, through social media networking, digital activism, things can happen to you. But what needs to be established in any political structure, whether at the level of the state or the level of the center, you need to deploy the leadership model. Once people accept your leadership, everything falls in place. And I think what is happening is Prashant Kishor, as a leadership model or as a leader, has emerged as a third pole in Bihar.
Right. Thank you.